Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here to revisit the Ride or Die tag that Jaclyn Hill created many moons ago. I filmed my initial Ride or Die tag on August 24th, 2016. Well, that's when I uploaded it. That's not when I filmed it. On August 24th, 2016, I uploaded my Ride or Die tag that Jaclyn Hill created, and recently I saw my friend Samantha March revisit and talk about her Ride or Die tag. She went ahead and shared her old favorites, and she talked about what they have been replaced with. I thought that would be fun. That's what we're here to do. I will have my initial video and Sam's video listed down below. But if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you would like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so first things first, going through my Ride or Die tag from 2016, there are a lot of items that I no longer have, so we will be inserting some pictures. We started with face primer. The face primer that I mentioned was the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. Let me say, I remember loving that primer. I loved it so much because it was both hydrating but also tacky. So I have dry skin. I was able to put it on my skin and feel a boost of hydration, but when I would touch my skin, I felt a little bit of tack, not an uncomfortable tack, but the kind where I was like, when I put my foundation down, it is sticking to my skin. I went through several tubes of that. The only reason why I stopped using that was when I got pregnant with my daughter in 2018. I found this website, 15 Minute Beauty, and the girl on there like researches ingredients and makeup products and says what is safe for pregnancy and what isn't. And so I remember looking up the Too Faced Hangover RX. She listed on there that it was not safe for pregnancy. So I made the decision. I did not talk to my doctor about it. I'm not telling you what to do if you are pregnant or nursing, but I made the decision to stop using it at that time, and I switched over and tried some other primers. So the Too Faced Hangover RX has been replaced with two primers, actually. I use a two-part primer system right now. First, I go in with the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. These are wonderful. You can use them as skincare. I use it kind of more so as a primer. I don't apply it on days that I'm not wearing makeup. So I'll do my entire skincare routine. I'll put some sunscreen on, and well, lately I've been putting this under the sunscreen. So either way, I use SPF on my face. And then either before or after, I will take a couple pumps of my Glow Recipe drops and put it all over my face for hydration. I let that soak in, and then I will go in with my Tatcha the Liquid Silk Canvas, and I will just put it where I have some pores and on my forehead lines and kind of blend it into the skin. And I feel like these two together with each other give me both a boost of hydration but also like a smoothing effect. And this is the only primer, the only primer in my collection right now. For foundation, I knew that I remember loving this one. I remember mentioning it. The Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, not the Stay Naked that they have now. The Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, which is no more. I believe I went through like 3 of those. I'm pretty sure I went through 3 of those foundations. I might have even had a 4th, but like I used it up completely. I remember it being very light coverage, super light. It was very liquidy. You would shake it up. I could hear, like I could see it running down my arm when I would pump it out onto my hand. But I just remember it being very comfortable. It was very hydrating. It made my skin look nice. Went through several of those. I remember when, I think I was in the shade 3, when they were like phasing that out and bringing the Stay Naked in. I remember making one last purchase and getting that foundation. But that is one where I feel like if they didn't discontinue it, if it was still around today, I don't think it would be my Ride or Die Holy Grail anymore. It has been replaced with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This one is in the shade 4. I did have a full size, used more than 50% of it, had to get rid of it, went out and repurchased. I do have another foundation. I've been loving the Patrick Ta Cream Foundation, but I don't think that I would call that like Ride or Die Holy Grail status right now. I'm just really enjoying it at the moment, but I think overall the Luminous Silk is the one that gives me the best look on my skin. I have dry skin. It makes me look luminous, but not too dewy or glowy. It feels hydrating and comfortable on the skin, but it does give me medium buildable coverage. And so even if the Urban Decay Naked Skin was still around, I don't think that it would beat the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. For concealer in 2016, I mentioned the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. Again, went through several of those. That is one I am sad to see it discontinued because I do think that I would have still used that concealer. It gave me nice coverage underneath the eyes, but it wasn't too thick, it wasn't cakey, it was hydrating, and I just really liked the way it made my under eyes appear. But they did get rid of that one as well. So the concealer that I have been loving lately is from Pat McGrath. It is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfecting Concealer. This is my second tube of it. I finished the first one up completely. This is L5. I think I had L4 before and I wish I had L4 now, but I like this one because you do get full pigment, full opacity, but it does not like settle into my fine lines too bad. It does a little bit, but I mean every concealer would, but it doesn't accentuate them. It doesn't accentuate my dry patches. Overall, I feel like it makes my under eyes look very nice and hydrating while also providing coverage. So I really love this one. Back in 2016, Jaclyn had a face powder, like an all-over face powder in her Ride or Die tag, and I skipped it because I said that I did not set my entire face. So still, I am going to skip that because I still do not set my entire face. I did talk about an under eye powder, and I mentioned the Laura Mercier translucent powder. Now, I still do like that powder. I have gone through several of them throughout the years. I still think it's a great powder, but it has been replaced by the Hourglass Translucent Veil mineral powder. I just finished up my mini and I was actually trying to pull it out of my empties bag, but I couldn't find it. So that's why I'm just inserting a picture of it. So I like both of these powders. I like the Laura Mercier Translucent and I love the Hourglass Veil. The reason why my Hourglass Veil primer has replaced the Laura Mercier Translucent is because I feel like the Hourglass is a little bit more finely milled. It feels like the Laura Mercier sits a little heavier on my under eyes. I still don't think it's bad, but I can get dry patches underneath my eyes and setting them with powder just doesn't always look the best. So I feel like the Hourglass, it's just a little bit more finely milled, sets my under eyes down nicely, sets the concealer down, makes it stay all day, and it's just also very comfortable to wear. For bronzer, oh my goodness, I remember the Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and in that video, I had so much pan. Like, I had so much pan on that bronzer, and that was my only bronzer in my collection, to be fair. It was. Now my bronzer collection has expanded. I would be interested to try that bronzer out again just to see how I feel about it now that I've tried others. But I would say that it has been replaced by the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, the Sculpt shade. I use this bronzer almost every single day. I do think it's on its way out. I don't think I have much life left in it. I've had it for several years, but I love this because it's not cool toned, but it's not warm toned. It's definitely very neutral. I can use it alone or put another bronzer on top of it. I can chisel out the cheeks with it or use a fluffy brush and kind of get more of a diffused bronze. And it has just been one that I've literally used every single day for so long now. I just think that it's a great color for me. I love the texture. I love the way that it looks on my skin. And even if I still had the Milk Chocolate Soleil, I do believe that this would take the cake. Okay, for blush. This is the first product I actually still have in my collection. This is not the initial one that I showed, but I mentioned MAC Melba Blush, and I had it as a single because I had purchased it and depotted it. Everybody was depotting back in the day. I ended up getting rid of that one because I no longer have my Z palettes. I'm not into like depotting anymore, and I did purchase it in the little container. So this is MAC's Melba. I still think it's a great blush. Jaclyn Hill was the one that I felt like raved about Melba all of the time. I still think it's a nice blush and I use it from time to time, but it's not one that I would even think would be like in my top 3 blushes or top 5 blushes at this point anymore. I feel like I reach for so many other blushes over Melba, especially if I were to have to do a ride or die now with blushes. I would say that the Pat McGrath formula is my favorite. Now, I don't know which one I would say out of these if I had to only pick one. This one was one of their holiday collections. It's in Nude Venus 2. This one was the first one that I got. This one is in Nymphette. Let me hold them next to each other. So I feel like they're very similar. This is Nymphette right here. This one is Nude Venus. I feel like Nude Venus is a little tiny bit more on the nude side, whereas Nymphette is a tiny bit more pink. They don't have shimmers, but they both do have a little bit of a sheen to them. I really, really love both of those shades, but I did also get one of her trios. And in this trio, we have this one right here, which is in Divine Rose and Desert Orchid. If I had to pick a favorite out of all of these, it might be Divine Rose. That's probably my most used out of the 4 blushes that I have, but this blush formula is definitely it for me. It is not flat. It gives me a nice satin finish on the skin, great pigment. I just really, really enjoy this blush formula. For highlighter, speaking of Jaclyn Hill, I mean, I feel this was really my favorite Ride or Die highlighter back in the day, but I feel like it's fitting that Jaclyn created this tag, and my favorite highlighter of the time was the Champagne Pop. I don't think it had pan at that time. I do have pan in here. This is not a highlighter that I use any longer. Now I just keep it honestly for like the memories, you know, like I remember getting this, it was my only highlighter, the only highlighter that I hit pan on. Like I keep it for that reason. It's sentimental, although you can still get Champagne Pop, but it's not my favorite anymore. It's not one that I even use. It just sits in a drawer. If I had to think of like a Ride or Die, my favorite highlighter, it would 100% be the Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair. This was an easy pick for me. I do have a big dip in this highlighter. This is one where like when I'm shopping my stash, I have to tell myself to like put it away, give it a break, because I will reach for it all the time. And sadly, I think that this one is no longer. I did see the Super Glow highlighters on sale at Sephora for a while ago, I think, and now it's no longer on the Sephora site. I don't know if you can get them on the Natasha Denona site, but they're no longer on the Sephora website. But that is definitely one that I would have to say is like my top highlighter of the moment. Mascara. I do not currently have this mascara in my collection because I like to rotate my mascaras and not keep a bunch open, but I do still love Maybelline The Rocket. Maybelline The Rocket is still my jam. It's a great affordable drugstore option. However, it has been replaced by a combo. I now love to go in with a volumizing mascara followed by a lengthening mascara. So the Lancome Monsieur Big is my favorite volumizing mascara of the moment, and the Benefit Roller Lash is my favorite lengthening mascara of the moment. So what I do is I take the Monsieur Big first, I do 2 little coats. It can get a little clumpy, so then I follow it up with the Roller Lash and do a coat on each, and I feel like it gives me both the volume and length that I love. For bullet lipsticks, I still have this one also. I said that my favorite bullet lipstick was MAC Modesty. This is MAC Modesty right here. This is not the original one that I had all those years ago. I have repurchased it a few times actually, but this is MAC Modesty right here. It is still a favorite of mine. It is still a go-to. I only have 2 MAC lipsticks in my collection, Modesty being one, but I would say there's another shade of MAC lipstick that has beat out Modesty, and it is this one right here in Blankety. You're probably going to look at me and say, wow, Kelly, really? Because they are very, very similar. Blankety is a little tiny bit more pink and a little shade lighter, a little bit cooler, whereas Modesty runs a tiny bit warmer. You probably cannot tell when they are swatched next to each other, but me, I can tell on the lips, and I would say that MAC Blankety is like my favorite bullet lipstick of the moment. This is the one that I take with me to work. I leave it in my drawer at work because I don't need a lip liner, but it looks great with a lip liner. I don't have to apply it with a mirror, but if I have a mirror, I can apply it, and it just overall looks great. I love the formula and I love the shade. For liquid lip, this was hilarious because I was watching my video from 2016 and I was like, I love this, I'm gonna repurchase it, I'm gonna keep it forever. And it was Kylie Cosmetics Candy K, and let me tell you, the Kylie liquid lip formulas were some of the first that I tried, and I did really love that formula before she reformulated. When she reformulated, I don't love it as much now. I did love that initial formula, and I remember loving Candy K, but that's just not, like, I have not used Kylie lipsticks in forever, and I never repurchased that one. I never did. Now, if I had to tell you a favorite liquid lip, it would be this one by Lunar Beauty in the shade Perfection. Let me give you a little swatch right here. You can see a theme here. I really love Perfection. This formula is super comfortable. It has a nice vanilla scent to it. You get full pigment and opacity, but it doesn't give you that crepey line. It's very long lasting. It will last me all day through eating and drinking. The only downside to this is I do feel like the Lunar Beauty liquid lip formula goes bad quickly, because I had one of these and I want to say it was maybe under a year or just over a year, and it definitely smelled. It was bad. It was bad, so I threw it away and purchased another one, but I haven't been reaching for this often. And it smells okay now, but I'm afraid that it's going to turn on me. However, if I had to pick a favorite liquid lip, that is the one that it would be. For lip gloss, I was cracking up because I said the NYX Butter Glosses, and I had a ton of them. I had a ton of NYX Butter Glosses. I loved them. Tiramisu and Creme Brulee were favorites. I have not tried the NYX Butter Glosses in a while now. I no longer have any of them in my collection, but I also don't think that those would be lip glosses that I would reach for now. I do have to say I'm not a lip gloss gal, okay? I was gonna say fan, but I do like a lip gloss here and there, but I'm not someone who is going to go out of my way to reach for a lip gloss, and I don't wear lip gloss every time that I'm wearing lipstick. I'm not wearing a lip gloss right now, but this one is new to me. It's new to me, but if I had to pick a favorite lip gloss out of the lip glosses that I have right now, it would be the Omen Gloss that my friend Heather Austin did in collaboration with Unearthly Cosmetics. The reason why this one is my favorite, it smells so good, by the way. Like, so sweet and delicious and scrumptious. The reason why I'm saying this one's my favorite, even though I have not had it for a long time, is because, look at it right here. It has a kind of like a clear base to it a little. It almost looks like there might be a hint of a white base, but a clear base to it, but then multi-dimensional shimmers that are not glittery, not chunks of glitter. You don't feel any grit on your lips, but they almost make my lips look juicier. I do get this beautiful shine, I get some glimmer and shimmer, but it's also not going to change the color of the lipstick underneath. With the NYX Butter Glosses, I feel like those would change because they're highly pigmented. They would change the color of the lipstick I'm putting on. If I'm putting a lipstick and then a gloss on, I don't necessarily want to change that color. I just want to add a little bit something to it, and Omen does that for me. For lashes, I said the Ardell Demi Wispy Lashes were my favorite, and now in 2023, I am gonna skip this category. In 2016, I said the Ardell Demi Wispies, and I did wear lashes when I was filming back in 2016, and those were the lashes that I was reaching for, but honestly, I would put lashes on, I would film, I would take them off. I have not really worn lashes since having my children, and it's not something that I wear on a day-to-day. Back in 2016, I felt like everybody that was on YouTube was wearing fake lashes or false lashes, so I kind of felt like I had to do that. But there are people that go bare lashed these days, so that is what I'm sticking to, and the Demi Wispies are great. I still have some in my collection, but I'm not going to tell you that I have a favorite lash now because I do not. For eyeshadow palettes, I was watching this and I was like, oh my gosh, I just can't pick an eyeshadow palette because I have 10 of them. And now I'm like, 10? Really? If I had 10 eyeshadow palettes, that would be such a small collection. I ended up saying my Makeup Geek singles were my favorites, and I think I have a few singles in my collection, but I never reach for single eyeshadows anymore. I'm not going to give you a favorite eyeshadow palette in this category because there are so many eyeshadow palettes that I love and use from several different brands. If I had to tell you a favorite formula, I would say Natasha Denona is my favorite formula, but like I can't pick a favorite palette at the moment. There are just so many good ones. So check some of my other palette videos for some favorite rankings, but the Makeup Geek singles have been replaced. For setting spray, my tried and true back in 2016, my MAC Fix Plus was my ride or die holy grail, and it's still sticking with me all these years later. 2023, still the only setting spray that I use, still my ride or die, still my favorite. I love it because it gives me hydration, but I don't know that it really makes my makeup last, but it gives me the hydration that I need. It's great for eyeshadows to make them nice and bright, and it helps my powders sink into my skin, so still my ride or die. There was also a perfume category, and I said that Giorgio Armani's C Perfume was my favorite holy grail. I went through so many of those. I loved that scent. It was so delicious, and I still think that it smells so good. But after having my daughter in 2019, I had a C Perfume and I sprayed it on myself, and just with like my body chemistry changing after giving birth, the perfume smelled different on me, and I didn't love the way that it smelled. So I have not repurchased Giorgio Armani C since then. However, after having my daughter, before having my son, I was wearing, it was Dossier, and it was called Floriental Almond, but it was supposed to be based off of Carolina Herrera's Good Girl perfume, and I loved that one. I was using the crap out of that. I loved it. I thought it was so good. And then I got pregnant with my son, and I'm still nursing him now, and I don't really wear too many perfumes when I'm pregnant and nursing, so I don't really know, now that I've had him, if my body chemistry has changed again, how Good Girl is going to compare to C these days, but we can revisit that maybe in another, I don't know, how long has it been? 6 years, 7 years? Maybe we'll do a revisiting, and then I'll have another fragrance for you then. Okay, but that's gonna do it for this video. I am going to wrap it up. My kids just got up from their nap. We have swim class tonight. Okay, I'm coming to you from my phone, and I'm filming my outro on my phone because my camera battery just died, and the other camera battery that I have is charging and also dead, and I literally just need an outro. I just wanted to say, if you're interested in this look, it is a shorts on my channel, but otherwise, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you're subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Bye.